Onion headlines time. I have 3 headlines here for you. 2 of them are from The Onion, satirical. 1 of them is real. You guys got to guess which one is real. Headline number 1. Report shows 78% of Americans too distracted by politics to appreciate the summer Glenn Powell is having. Headline number 2. Parents and Gen Alpha kids are having unintelligible convos because of brain rot language.
Okay.
And headline number 3. Iowa State Fair visitor gored by 500-pound yam. Which one do you think is the real headline? Devlin, we're starting with you.
I'm going to go with the brain rot is the real headline.
Devlin's going brain rot. Frank, what are you going with?
I'm going to go with the yam, just because that sounds
Frank is going yam, and we have a winner. It's Devlin.
Yam?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Parents and Gen Alpha
like,
kids are having unintelligible convos because of brain rot language. Now, I believe this article came from NBC News. So I've isolated some segments out of this to talk about this. I mean, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and are you guys familiar with Skibidi?
Wasn't that a word in like the 30s?
Is that a Pauly Shore saying?
Well, we're going to get to that here in a minute. There's one term in here that Frank actually taught us all about, and it's when we were going over the what were the most video game characters searched on Pornhub, I think is what it was. Really? Yeah. And there's a term that Frank told us about that gave us the heads up on that one. So this comes from the article on NBC News. It appeared abruptly in the lexicons of kids under 14. The first slang term unique to Generation Alpha. Are you guys familiar with which Generation Alpha is?
The other dumb one under Z?
Kind of. It's basically 2010, born 2010 and now. So anybody within that gap is Gen Alpha. So there was a term that was said. Nobody quite knew what it meant. It could mean bad, cool, or nothing at all, as the kids would explain. And then a dozen more incomprehensible terms followed suit.
Like Ion?
Gen Z, which is obviously the generation older than Alpha, Slay and T are officially vintage, giving away to Sigma, Gat, that's the one that Frank told me about,
Yeah.
and Phantom Tax.
Phantom Tax?
So remember this, because Devlin, I know you have a younger kid as well. So these are all terms that eventually you're going to be hearing.
So glad I don't have kids.
Gen Alpha's hype. I'm so glad you don't have kids either. Gen Alpha's hyper online manner of speaking has been dubbed brain rot. And that's mostly by Gen Zers who share spaces like TikTok with them. There's a content creator and a linguist named Adam Alexic, who says it's meant to create this in-group which alienates older people. And it can be hard for older people to catch up because you've got to be very current with the fads. It evolves so quickly online. Many of the Gen Alpha kids, this is not his quote anymore, it's back to the article. Many of the Gen Alpha kids who use Skibidi as part of their daily lingo still don't really know what it means. My kid included. Like I've asked her, she's like, I don't know what it means. We just say it. Oh, and going back to the term Sigma, on one of my kids' assignments, they were supposed to post like on a message board within the class, what, do you prefer rainy days or sunny days? And all these kids from El Paso, Texas were like, I prefer rainy days. And it's like, we're going to need to fucking move, dude. And one kid posted that, and another kid just responded underneath, Sigma. Swear to God.
Well, you know what, that kid can ligma.
That's the first thing I thought of. Went from
I'm
Sigma
sorry.
to ligma.
Brain rot conversations. One of the biggest movies when I was a teenager was literally had a conversation where all they said was dude.
Dude, where's my car?
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an entire conversation they had.
Pauly Shore
brain
was
rot,
our
really?
Pauly Shore was our brain.
And then you have Pauly Shore.
I was just going to go
one.
there. I mean, you think about Pauly Shore and all the stuff that he created. I mean, that was kind of it. So The Skibidi thing, it all
Why
started.
Are you harshing on my jizz, man? I'm gonna just mellow on the munch.
He didn't say jizz.
Yeah.
I was just going with whatever riff word I could think of.
Jesus. No, he's at the juice. I just
The worst
remember
part
when
is
he's at the convenience store. No, he's at the juice.
No,
So-
he's in the
And
juice.
he got fucking left. Like they brought him everywhere into Disney. Disney gave him a platform to hit every other person that nobody would have allowed to watch any of his other movies.
Yeah.
The Goofy movie. Look, it's a Tower of Jesus.
Oh,
I
you're
mean,
right.
Well, some of his movies
That was
were
probably
what,
short.
like, was it? There was like the studio that Disney owned, but they'd use it as a different
Buena
label.
Vista. I think it was Buena Vista, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah, and like so, Son-in-Law and a lot of those movies
Mhm.
are actually under the Disney umbrella, and he's been trying to push them to do another like Son-in-Law 2 and all these like other like he's begging on Twitter for them to because I guess he needs money, but he's begging on them to do like a sequel to some of his movies from the 90s.
So
I mean,
Go-
is there anybody gonna like and stop his documentary now? Or his
now that Richard Simmons
Biopic?
passed away,
Hmm.
hope so. So going back to this, it all started with a now 76-part animated YouTube series called Skibidi Toilet. Now it's
Okay.
used to mean basically anything.
Is that the thing they're making the movie on with the guy?
But it's so big that mainstream Hollywood has
I
taken
appreciate
notice,
that, Charles. Thank you.
and director Michael Bay is set to give
Yeah.
Skibidi Toilet the film and TV treatment with a franchise that's in the works.
Apparently, it's like an old YouTube video from like 10 or 12 years ago, and it's just like this younger generation has just caught onto it now or something.
Yeah, it's
Wasn't
not
it?
a new video. It's at least 2 years old.
Okay, 2 years. Yeah. Okay.
So, just so you guys know, this is an educational portion of the program for anybody with children. I'm going to try to tell you what some of these terms mean.
Oh Lord.
Sigma, for example, means someone who is cool or a leader.
Okay.
Ohio, on the other hand, means weird or cringe. And that's based on the memes that reference only in Ohio, with certain things that only happen in that state.
Hmm.
Negative aura has replaced Gen Z's bad vibes.
I mean, that's basically the same thing.
And
Yeah.
and phantom tax means to steal something.
So
Phantom or Phantom?
Phantom, F-A-N-U-M.
we went with one generation that was making everything short, like they'd go ion and go on whatever the hell it was supposed to mean something, and now we're going to one that's like, no, let's add 5 words to
Yeah.
to it to explain what we're trying to say. What the hell happened in the last 20 years?
Well,
I mean,
There-
they still shorten things like Riz. That's charisma.
Is that
shortened.
alpha or is that Z?
I thought it was Alpha.
I don't
We're
know.
all-
who
I don't know.
that
It's hard to
was.
keep. I can't keep up with the generation thing. I've
Right.
been like 9 different generation labels.
Yeah, right now some alpha generation kid is watching this going, look at these boomers.
Exactly.
So there
Fuck
was
you,
a
kid.
there was a TikTok song that goes to incorporate all of
I
these
had
different
sex
terms.
with your mom.
The song goes as such: sticking out your gyat for the Rizzler. You're so Skibidi. You're so phantom tax. I just want to be your Sigma. Freaking come here. Give me your Ohio.
I'm uncomfortable. I don't know what you did, but I'm pretty sure you summoned some weird trailer park demon.
Oh, there's
And
probably
now
a
it's
giant
just-
cloud over my house right now that's like,
Yeah.
like Ghostbusters. So this also reminded me of, do you guys remember the fake grunge terms that were created?
I think you brought him up one point.
Time
Didn't you?
magazine called Sub Pop Records in Seattle. Basically asking like, hey, what are some terms that you can
Right.
tell us so we know what the lingo is in kind of the grunge community? So this girl who was on the phone, was it Jasper was her name, I think? Somebody named Jasper. I'm seeing that in the article here. But anyway, so it was a girl at the front desk at Sub Pop Records. She just made a bunch of shit up. So what she made,
Good for her.
so she made up bloated, big bag of bloatation means drunk. Bound and hagged, staying home on a Friday or Saturday night. Cobnobbler was a loser.
That I remember being a hurt. I've heard that on movies before.
Oh, don't worry.
That had to get picked up.
You're gonna recognize some of these, like dish. a desirable guy.
Good talk.
Fuzz, heavy wool sweaters. Harsh realm, bummer. Kickers, heavy boots. Lame stain, uncool person. Plats, platform shoes. Rock on, a happy goodbye. Score, meant great. Swinging on the flippity flop, meant hanging out. Tom Tom Club, uncool outsiders, and whack slacks were old ripped jeans.
Huh.
I'm gonna have to show my kid that.
I was cool once.